Welcome to the first bonus episode
of the Books and Booze podcast.
Wow. Should we have another career endeavor where
we do jingles?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I'd be so good at jingles. And if anyone is listening to this, then they are doing that as their profession. I understand that I probably wouldn't be good at it, but let me dream.
Yeah, it's a good dream to have. Another career opportunity.
But yeah, that's what we're doing today. I'm Christine.
I'm Jamie.
And we're doing our first bonus episode.
Yay. That didn't really sound excited.
It didn't. What does bonus episode mean? That's one of the things I wanted to clarify too. Like, what's the difference between us doing a bonus episode and just doing a regular episode?
It's a bonus.
Well, I think I would explain it like we have been breaking down A Court of Thorns and Roses series.
Yeah.
Breaking it down like 5 chapters at a time or however many chapters at a time and really combing through the story and commenting on the story. Whereas the bonus episodes are like
a little detour. Quick little
it's a detour, but it's like quick little treats.
Yeah.
Right? So like the book that we're doing today, Bride, we are not breaking down Bride. We're not recapping Bride. We are just having one episode where we talk about the book.
Yeah.
And our favorite parts and all of those things. So that's the difference between a bonus episode. It's books that we know that we're not going to break down and do recaps of, but we still want to have an opportunity to talk about.
Yes, that was a great explanation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Mine, it's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, it's great. Love it.
Let's talk about some of our ideas because we are a newer podcast, right?
Yes.
So we started with A Court of Thorns and Roses. We're making our way through those series, but we haven't done anything else. So we're still coming up with ideas. We're still adapting and figuring out everything. We're getting better and better.
As we go along. Yeah.
And so one of the conversations we've had is what bonus episodes do we want to do? What are the little quick treats that we want to talk about? And so we have some ideas.
We do. So I feel like obviously other books is a main thing.
Well, this is a book podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we also had discussed having someone on who had just read through the books and talking to them about it.
Yeah.
So that's another idea.
Yeah,
But it's mainly other books.
But having people like we've talked about before, like our friend who finished the books, or like someone else who we're interested in hearing what they have to say.
And their first time read of it.
Yeah.
So that's an idea.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Or do we want to talk about the certain books we do wish to cover?
Yeah. So that was one of the things too. I feel like the list that we made are books that both of us have read.
Yes.
But like Bride, I understand that as time goes on, there's going to be books that are common between us that we'll be able to do. But right now, our list is a little bit limited because there's only so much overlap of books that we've read.
Yes. And I feel also a lot of the books that we have enjoyed, there's multiples.
Oh, you mean it's a series?
It's a series. So this book today is nice because it's just one book.
Yeah, that's a good bonus one.
Yes.
The Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. That's one of the other ones that we thought, let's do a bonus one of it. We don't want to do a full break. That would take
forever.
That would take 10 years.
Yeah.
But maybe we could do a 2-parter or a 3-parter to talk about the Blood and Ash series and the prequel.
Yes. Prequel. I loved the prequel.
I like the prequel better. So that's one of them. The other one is A Study in Drowning by Ava Reid. Mm-hmm. I liked that one, and that's a standalone. That's one of the other options.
Oh, another one I don't think we talked about is I wouldn't mind doing is The One Dark Window.
Yes. I think the reason that I didn't put that on our list of bonus is because I like it so much that I would consider doing a further breakdown.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's one of my faves.
Exactly.
Yeah. What else do we have on here?
Divine
Rivals. Yep.
Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that would be an easier one to just compress into 1 or 2 bonus episodes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of quick reads. There's, that would be a short and sweet and an enjoyable one.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, you have Harry Potter on this list.
Well, Look, Harry Potter is a little bit of a controversial one now just because of J.K. Rowling. So it's like, do I want to give J.K. Rowling more promotion? No.
I feel like Harry Potter just, like, almost is a whole other entity.
And that's kind of a debate within, like, book communities, or even when you talk about, like, celebrities and their music. Like, do you separate the artist from the art, and
yes, that is a whole ethical, other,
like, that's an opinion.
Yes.
Right? So that's something that I would consider with Harry Potter, but yes, it is on our list because that, like, many millions of people in the world, that was, like, a really important series in their reading journey.
Yes. 1000% agree. Oh, Discovery of Witches. I would actually like to do that one, because that, I think, was another series where slowly was, like, inching me back into, like, really getting into reading again, that you had also gave to me.
Yeah, Deborah Harkness. I agree. That was one of the ones that we read years ago that felt like brought me into reading again.
Yeah. And, like, the fantasy world of reading, I think. Yeah, because I was kind of away from that genre, really, and not reading as much, but I was like, oh, right, I love this shit.
Yes. And it does feel, now that I think we have more experience reading books, and especially fantasy books, I don't know that those books are, like, top notch, but because it's meaningful, those books to me, I want to talk about them.
Yeah. Okay, they made it into a series, so it...
Right? You're right. It was made into a TV series, so, yeah.
It was good.
So that's definitely on our list. The other one is His Dark Materials, which is, like, probably my favorite series of all times for many reasons, but like we've talked about before, also made it into a wonderful TV series on HBO, but that has a place in my heart. I wouldn't mind talking about that series maybe in, like, a couple episodes. That's our dilemma, is, like, are we capable of
just compressing it down to one episode? And that's the issue.
We just had a conversation about having to compress our future A Court of Wings and Ruins episodes. Yeah. Like, to condense it into 11, which was, like, really difficult for us. Can we do it?
So much happens that I need to talk about, though.
Right. So, look, we're trying.
Yeah, we're just also figuring things out. And if anyone also has any opinions about...
suggestions about what would be a really good bonus episode... Because we got time before we do the next bonus episode. Yeah. So
we will
consider. We will continue to have ideas. That's what we have so far. My other bonus episode idea, which is kind of silly, but could be made, like, attached to another episode, is a cocktail redemption episode.
Or do we just make cocktails the entire time?
I don't know. The idea is fresh. It is new. It is raw. But I was just thinking about it because it reminds me of RuPaul's Drag Race when they had that, I think it was maybe on an All-Stars, and they got to do, like, a redemption look. They got to redo a look from their previous season that maybe they didn't do so well on, and they got to, like, upgrade it and do it, like, a second chance.
Yes.
So it's like, what's a drink that we, like, was a dud, and we want to try and redo and elevate?
I can think of a few.
I know, exactly. You want, just off the top of my head, the rainbow one, even though that's still
but that was good.
But I feel like, what would it do? Because it was kind of like a resort drink. But I was like, what would be the elevated version of the rainbow drink? You know what I mean?
Okay. I'm thinking of my blood orange drink.
Blood orange drink, you could do so much with that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm into it.
Ideas, when we welcome ideas. These are just off the cuff. Whew.
There's a stam fly.
I know. There's so a fly. Annoying. There's a fly.
I'm like, go to the other area of the room, please.
Let's talk about the drink before it gets warm.
Yeah, especially with this one, I feel like.
Okay, we're doing Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and within this book, the main character, Misery, eats peanut butter, but she's not really supposed to because she's a vampire. Yeah. She just has blood, but for some reason she really loves peanut butter, so of course we're doing a peanut butter drink. Mm-hmm. And now I would like to announce that this is a Christine original. And I'm going to get you to try it now, and then I'll tell you afterwards because I'm really scared it's going to be warm. So let's try it. Cheers.
Woo! That's good. It's like a really fun dessert. Like, it's thick, but I don't care.
Well, it needs to be stirred also. You know?
And I like the salt.
Me too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yay!
Good job. This is so good. It like reminds me of a peanut butter and jam sandwich, even though there's no jam in it.
I considered doing like a jam version, but
I do have a jam cocktail I want to do one time.
Okay.
But also it's kind of like Reese's Pieces a little bit. The salt's great. Like it makes it.
Well, you know what? I'm a salted caramel fan, so I understand
I could like chug this. And I would also like to say that I'm not a huge milky drink with alcohol fan.
No.
This is so good.
Yes.
Great dessert drink, I feel.
And I put it together myself. This is a milestone.
Yeah.
Okay, so
now I have to do something.
Let me take you on my journey, because I did send you a picture of my mess in my kitchen when I was experimenting, because I went through different versions of dairy. Like,
I'm gonna take another sip because it's really important to me right now. It's really good. Okay.
So I did. I tried it with half and half cream. I tried it with condensed milk. I tried it with almond milk. 1% milk, and then finally I found that coconut milk was the winner. But the reason is because doing like cream or whatever else, it was too creamy and too thick with the peanut butter. So I still wanted it to be like a cocktail, a drink that was thin, and I feel like coconut milk did that. And it also, look, dairy doesn't do good things to my system, so I would rather a coconut milk anyway. And it doesn't take away. It doesn't taste like coconut in this drink. I think it tastes like a light peanut butter, creamy enough drink.
Yeah.
And then I put some salt in it too. So it is.
Don't forget the salt.
Yes.
You make this.
Salt, coconut milk, and I did the sugary type of peanut butter, not the natural peanut butter, because folks, I also did experiment with the natural peanut butter. I did lots of experimentations, and it was the sort of crappy peanut butter that we think of, that one out. And I did honey.
Honey's also always a win, I feel like.
Oh, and the liquor is dark rum.
Right. I don't even feel like you can taste the alcohol, really.
It's like, it might be floating at the bottom. You might get it at the bottom. But the reason I chose dark rum also is because we are big fans of eggnog and rum.
Ooh, yes. I do. Okay, that is a milky drink I do love.
Yes, so I hope we revisit it during the Christmas season, but that's why I decided on the dark rum, is because I know that I love eggnog and rum.
Oh.
And this is...
Congratulations!
I'm really proud of myself.
You should be. This is fantastic.
Yay! Oh, it's not even in the cocktail counted anymore because we took out one episode, so we don't need to count it.
That kind of sucks for you because it probably would have won.
Oh.
I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
good job.
I got to keep experimenting.
Yeah. Look at you. No, I have to try and experiment as well.
Peanut butter
and jelly. Okay, so you have some names down here that you were considered calling it.
Oh, I forgot about that part. Okay. So here are my options, and I think they're all awful options for most of them, but I have no idea what to call this drink. So I have Misery's Nuts, which doesn't make sense because she doesn't have testicles, so it's kind of weird.
But peanut butter's nuts.
I know. Okay. Misery's Guilty Pleasure, Misery Lark, which is just her name, and then Peanut Butter Bride.
These aren't awful.
No? Okay, good.
I actually do like just Misery Lark.
Okay, I like that too.
I also like Peanut Butter Bride.
Okay, let's vote.
I feel like, or just like the Misery Lark.
The Misery Lark, not just Misery Lark?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go with that. The Misery Lark. Agreed. Ooh. Okay, now let's get into this book. A dangerous alliance between a vampire bride and an alpha werewolf becomes a love deep enough to sink your teeth into in this new paramoral paranormal romance.
Oh, okay. Misery Lark, the only daughter of the most powerful vampire councilman of the Southwest, is an outcast again. Her days of living in anonymity among the humans are over. She has been called upon to uphold a historic peacekeeping alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares. And she sees little choice but to surrender herself in the exchange again.
Wares are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Lowmoreland, is no exception. He rules his pack with absolute authority, but not without justice. And unlike the Vampire Council, not without feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every movement that he doesn't trust her. If only he knew how right he was.
Because Misery has her own reasons to agree to this marriage of convenience. Reasons that have nothing to do with politics or alliances.
Politics.
Politics? What did I say?
You said politics.
That's not what you're saying, okay? I'm going to start that part again. Because Misery has her own reason to agree to this marriage of convenience, reasons that have nothing to do with politics or alliances, and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about. And she is willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers, even if it means a life alone in Were territory, alone with a wolf.
Oh no.
Oh my god, what do you think's going to happen?
No, I'll just get my clipboard here.
I can't stop drinking this.
I could have won the whole cocktail countdown.
You probably would have.
So, what did you rate this book and why?
4 out of 5.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. I've never read any other ones of her books just because I'm more into like fantasy instead of just like
romance.
I don't need real world romance.
Yeah, take me out of this world.
Yeah. I just, I think I almost want to call it like a vacation type read.
Yeah.
Like it had all the different aspects that I kind of wanted, where there was also like the mystery and like you're trying to solve where her friend is, but then, just the romance, then the fighting families. Like it was nothing new, but I just really enjoyed it. There were some parts where I was like, oh, so I'm giving it like a 4.
Yep.
I just felt like with her, how much she was not catching on that he liked her.
Okay, that was on my list too. It was like, what things do you hate about the book? That was the only thing on my list, was like, come on.
It became very frustrating. Like, I get, obviously, that's going to happen at first.
Yeah.
But to the point where I was like, okay, like...
Like, babe.
Yeah, like, you need to be catching on at this point, where there's very obvious signs.
Right.
Enjoyed it. I liked the different relationships. I would have liked to know a bit more of, like, the Were world a bit. I feel like we were kind of confined to, like, the house.
True.
You know what I mean?
There would be more, like, world building that could
I wouldn't have been mad about that.
A cooler fantasy
Yes.
book. Yeah.
I also really enjoyed that it was, like, modern.
Right. Yep.
That it was very much, they had phones, and it was very much a modern world, which was fun. I just enjoyed it. It was a fun read. Like a fun, quick read.
See, this is my dilemma, I guess, with ratings, is because I understand the rating system of a 5 out of 5 book is a book that you are, like, obsessed with, that you'll go back to. And so I originally gave this 5 out of 5, not because I think that I'm going to go back to it.
I actually probably read it again.
But it was simply because enjoyability.
Yeah.
Like, I breezed through the book in like 3 days or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that was really nice.
Right, yes.
And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Not that it was, I don't know, like, you give lots of critiques or whatever, but it was just like my enjoyability. Like, I was not irritated. I was not pushing myself to finish it. I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And so that's why I gave it a 5 out of 5, even though it's probably not a book that I'm going to reread again. Yeah. And I understand that people probably have different rating systems, but that was mine.
Yeah, everyone kind of does. But I also don't think, again, I don't know her other books, but putting out ones that are, I think they're supposed to just be, like, enjoyable. Yeah. Like that, like the good. They make you feel good. Yeah. They're nice to read. And it's always nice to have a book where you're like, I don't want to put this down.
And it's not an emotional roller coaster where you're like, I have so much anxiety. Do I need to call in sick today to work so that
I'm going to be crying all day?
Do I need to know what happened? Are they going to be okay?
Okay, my foot's falling asleep. reshuffle my whole body. I also felt like it was fun. Like, I liked the peanut butter thing.
That was cute.
I thought that was cute. It had the really cute parts in it, and...
Yeah, it was... I imagine, like, I'm not a... Again, like, we're not romance book people, but I imagine this is why people like those cute romance books.
Yes.
Is because they are feel good, they're not too emotional roller coasty, that they just, like... They're cute and sweet.
Yes.
So for me, this was like an entryway into romance books. Not that I'm probably going to go read romance books, but I understand it.
And I think for her, because this was her first type of like fantasy book, and I think she did a really great job.
It was like a romance book with a little bit of like fantasy on top by making them vampires and werewolves.
I don't know when we're going to start talking about the nodding.
Okay, yes, let's get into that. So,
but I feel like her just doing that was just...
Oh, yeah, that's an important thing. So, I wanted to get into some of the highlights, and I think, obviously, that's, like, top of the list highlight, because I think that's really bold of her.
Yeah.
As a new fantasy author to go straight into nodding.
Right? Like, that's, I feel like, something you would see with someone else.
Her.
Yeah, I agree. Which we have talked about the nodding before.
Yes.
One of our
when I read the book.
Yes, when I first read it. But, yeah, I feel like that was a risk.
I think so.
And I loved it. And it's weird.
It's so weird.
Very, like, romantic-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Just, okay, I'm going to change it to 5 stars, actually, just for that. Just for the boldness.
That's part of the romantic-y genre, I think, is those little, like, twists where it's like, oh, this is strange. I'm going to accept it, though.
Yep, it's a bit freaky, and I like it.
Which I think sits well in the, like, in-between of I think books that we like, which are like definitely fantasy, but like has romance because we like romantasy primarily, and that also has some spice, but is not like so far into spice that it's a purely spice book. That spice is we like romantasy with spice, and I saw someone do like something like a reel on Instagram where it's like you're not reading a spice book, like there's spice book and then there's like this book with spice.
Yes.
Right? So it's romantasy with spice.
I like
not
both.
A spice book.
I like a spicy book.
That has less plot, more spice.
I mean, I don't mind, like, I prefer more plot with spice. Yeah. But I'm also not mad when I read like a spicy, more leaning toward the spicy side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, we're venturing off into different territories. Let's see
where. Which is also I am like figuring that out as I read, because then I'll read one. I'm like, oh, this is very like spice forward. Mm-hmm. But yeah, again, I do prefer more with plot and stuff that makes sense. But it also needs to like make sense.
Give me a sex book.
Yeah. And I need it to not... I was like, okay, we don't need like 5 chapters of just a sex scene, but...
Yeah. Or do we?
Sometimes it depends on the day.
Or do we?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Misery the character, because I thoroughly enjoyed Misery for a few reasons. And I think there's like 2 prongs to why. One of them is... and I don't know what one to go with first, but one of them is her charm and her humor, and the other one is her defense mechanisms, which I think made for a good plot point. I don't know which one you want to venture in first.
I liked her sense of humor.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that. I'm like, I would be friends with you.
I love her.
Yes, I really enjoyed that. That was probably my favorite part of her. Mm-hmm. And just her name. Big fan of the name.
Okay, that's a different subject.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so let me have some more peanut butter. Just the right amount of salt, too.
I put more salt than I did initially, and that was a good choice.
Please continue.
So, I have some of my favorite quotes of Misery. She says, honey, and she lowers the sunglasses to the top of her nose. Are we rich?
Okay, yes.
And when another character says you should punish her, and she starts to laugh, and she says, yes, Lo, spank me and take away my TV privileges. Like, it was very Paris Hilton and Nicole Richie.
Oh my god, yes. Well, now I just want her to be Paris Hilton.
Or Nicole Richie.
Yeah, I love Nicole Richie.
Yes.
Have you seen her like music videos she makes?
No.
Okay, well...
She's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm like, yes, more Nicole Richie. She would 100% say that. Oh, and she's an actress. What? Yeah, she acts.
Nicole Richie?
Yeah.
In what?
She's going to be in... They are doing a remake of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And she plays, like, the boss, the office boss.
Why isn't she playing the main character?
Because I think she's too old.
I mean, put her in anything, I'll take her.
Yes, I love her.
So another quote is, the character says, no, who is scared of her? No, but what will she eat? And she said, I guess I'll have to find another source of blood. Who could that be? Let's see. And she drums her fingers against the edge of the table to create suspense. And she says, who smells good around? And then Lo puts his hand over hers. And he says, stop playing with your food, wife. But just that character that she kind of taunts.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, no, I know. I love her. Yeah, those were great highlights, I would also like to say.
So, I mean, we could talk about... Yeah, let's talk about Misery's name.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I was confused. This was a part that didn't make sense to me. I'm going to be honest.
There was a few things that didn't make sense, but I didn't care.
I couldn't figure out if I had just missed this, and I couldn't, like, going back, couldn't find it. But I was like, why is her name Misery?
They do talk about that their names are, like, given, not chosen or something.
Okay. And it was something about her mom's birth, because she died giving birth, but it was like, there was never a clear of why that word to me. It wasn't clear enough to me.
Of, like, why they chose it?
Of why exactly that was the word that was chosen.
I know they did say it at one point.
I think they did. It just was not a good enough explanation for me.
Yeah, they just didn't really, like, explain it as...
Okay, I would make this peanut butter drink again.
Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't also really just, her mother died giving birth to her.
It was strange, because then her brother's name is Owen, and her dad's name is Henry.
Yeah, it's not really a theme there. Maybe that they hate her.
Which, it didn't make sense, too, because it's like, okay... The description we have of vampires is like they're stoic, not excitable, but then you have Misery and then you have Owen, who are more emotionally healthy.
Yes, she also grew up with humans, though.
She grew up with humans, but it seems like Owen has some of that. So it's like, okay, vampires are not immune to emotion, so they have them and they have a range of them.
Yes. They're probably just like in an environment where it's...
But I suppose...
suppress it.
Yeah.
But he also has, like, Misery there. So
True.
She maybe, like, pulls that kind of out of him a little bit. Or it
and
could
I
just
suppose that naming her was her dad's choice, too.
Yeah, probably.
So, like, he didn't think of anything. Okay, it's making more... Okay, I get it.
I do really love the name, though.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Not cute even you give it to a little girl, but, like, in a context of reading this book, it's cute.
Like, if I had a cat, I would name it Misery.
Oh,
it would be a good cat name.
Okay.
I'm not getting a cat, but... One day if I do.
Let me talk about the other thing that I liked. Not necessarily that it's, like, a good trait, but I liked for the storyline, which was Misery's thing about not truly being loyal to the vampires. Like, she felt shunned by both sides.
Which makes complete sense.
Yes, by how they treated her. So one of the quotes I have is, too bad, and this is when Lo, they're at the wedding altar, and he's looking at her strange, and she's taking it as, he doesn't like me.
Yes.
So she thinks, too bad I've cut, or I think it's when she's walking up to the altar, but whatever it is, she's getting bad looks. Too bad I've cut my teeth on disappointing people, and I'm not about to start caring now. Like, she has a huge wall built up because her entire life she has not been accepted by the vampires. She has not been accepted by the humans that she grew up with. And so she just, like, even though she's not with the humans anymore, she is still going about her life with these huge walls built up. And even though that brings us wonderful humor segments, right?
Well, she did stay with the humans even after that part of her life was done.
Because that's where she's more comfortable.
Yeah, but it would, shave her teeth. I also would just like to say, because you mentioned the wedding.
Yeah.
Love how she wore a pantsuit.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just a big fan of that. I just really wanted to shout out pantsuits.
Shout out to pantsuits. Do it more. Be creative with your wedding gear, guys.
Yeah. Think of all the dance moves want.
I wore black at my wedding.
You did. And your husband
and a green veil. You do whatever you want.
We should actually post your wedding photos one day.
We should. Oh, I did think of A Shadow in Ember, which is the prequel to Blood and Ash.
Yeah.
It did remind me of, what's her name in the book?
Wow.
Seraphina.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of the book, Seraphina is like brought to like an altar kind of thing. Like that's the beginning, the intro. So it really reminded me of the intro to that book too, where it was like you're brought to sort of like a wedding or you're like this commitment, and then you kind of backtrack and you like you figure out all the details as time goes on. That's what it reminded me of. But like what Misery is dealing with after like coming back from the humans and like the way that she is, it made the plot be more believable to me. Because if you're dealing with that your whole life, where you're like, you're rejected from the vampires, you're rejected from the humans, you like really get this mantra of, okay, the world doesn't accept me, people don't accept me, people don't really like me.
Yes. My own family shunned me pretty much.
You're not used to love, you're used to rejection. So it played into like the believability for me that she wouldn't believe that
Lo had any,
like, that his interest was too deep, or that he like that made it more believable, even though it was a little bit annoying.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like her, but then I loved the relationship like with her and Serena. Like I really loved, because obviously when we go into it, we know she's missing, but then it goes like flashbacks and seeing like how they grew up together, and I just almost think that says like a lot about like with children, like they don't see differences as much. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like they don't see those in other things until like the world teaches them to believe those things. So I just loved how that relationship and them growing up, and they always still like had each other, and that was like became her family.
Yeah, it transcended. Even they met each other as children, even though when they went to the real world, they realized, oh, this shouldn't be a friendship, they still maintained it.
Yeah.
And I like that it sustained throughout the book, that it like that there wasn't like a twist or anything, that it was just like this was a genuine friendship. Mm-hmm. And the book ended with it being a genuine friendship.
And her like the whole time just being so like constant about like, no, she wouldn't just do this. And
this is my sister. I know.
People trying to say, well, this and this, and she's like, no, like I know her.
Yeah.
Don't tell me any different. Mm-hmm. And that was, just always such a constant. Yay, friendship.
Yay, friendship. Yeah, and I think we don't get a lot of these storylines. Like, obviously in books we get the friendship storylines, but it's hard to give it depth when you do also have a romance storyline happening. Yeah. And I feel like this book did really well make me believe that there was depth within this relationship and gave me evidence of it.
Yes, I agree. And also, even with Lo and his sister, that was another favorite of mine. So I just think there was lots of very good relationships in the book. I also loved her relation, and I'm gonna forget his name. Her relationship with the tech werewolf.
I forget his name too.
Yeah, but I loved it.
Yeah.
And I also loved how she was really like techie. Yes, but I loved like her relationship with him.
That was the guy that she kept threatening to eat.
Yes, it was. That's what it was funny, and I loved it. And then they worked he's really impressed with, like you know what you're doing, and you know all like so much stuff. But they had a really fun relationship, I felt, and I think just for how like short the book really is, the like little relationships that were in it were really well done.
Yeah, and didn't even though some of them were surface level, it didn't feel like surface level that made me be like mad about it.
Yeah.
You know, like some books that like relationships were are surface level, but they make you believe they're more important. And you're like, well, I don't believe that they're important because you haven't told me that it is.
Yeah.
I actually did believe it here. Like, it gave me enough.
Yes.
I really liked...
The nodding.
The brother-sister relationship. Mm-hmm. And obviously we had the through line with the Serena Misery relationship, but we also had this Owen and Misery relationship where it was like ups and downs and you weren't really sure, can we trust Owen, is it a good relationship?
Yes.
So it gave a variation and I loved how it ended. I was very satisfied with the ending.
I feel like I would have been upset if
he turned out evil.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I was like, no, like that's like her twin and I feel like he genuinely wants that, so I'm like, don't.
But I didn't trust him.
I know, same. I was.
You were waiting to see, can we trust him?
Yeah, because you're like, are you going to be just like your father?
Exactly.
I'll say it.
Okay, you tell us the low quote. Low Moreland.
Also like his name.
Yeah.
Great name choices.
It makes me think of, what's that TV show, the cowboy TV show?
Yellowstone?
Yellowstone. I've never watched Yellowstone, but maybe I just haven't been to the Dakotas and
the Dakotas.
Okay, go ahead.
So Lowe says, maybe there is something devastating about the incompleteness of it, but maybe just knowing that the other person is there, his throat bobs. There might be pleasure in that too, the satisfaction of knowing that something beautiful exists. His lips open and close a few times, as though he can only find the right words by shaping them first to himself. Maybe some things transcend...
Reciprocity.
Reciprocity. Maybe not everything is about having. End scene.
So the reason that I wanted to highlight that quote is because I think it is a really cool look at what maybe love is.
Oh, well now I feel like I have to read it again in my head.
Where he's basically like... It's not about reciprocity, meaning like it's reciprocal, like it's not about I'm doing these things to expect something back. Love is selfless.
Yes.
I will love you even if you don't exist and you decide not to be with me. It is something bigger than that and I will give that to you and I will be happy with what we can have. It's like, you know.
Well, now I want that on a wall.
That's not like the best quote to have on a wall.
Make everybody read it when they come to my home.
Okay, what's the quote that you want to have on your wall? Maybe some things transcend reciprocity. Maybe not everything is about having.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a good wall quote.
But then then people will read it and you'll be like, it's reciprocity.
I'll have a dictionary and a copy of Bride.
This is what I put it on my wall so that when people come over, I need to explain it to them, and then I get to engage them in a conversation about the books that I like, and then they can't escape.
That's right. We lock the door.
They're in my house.
You have to talk about this now.
And now let me walk you over to my bookshelf. Oh, you didn't come over for this? Too bad.
This is what we're doing.
Looking at my bookshelf. These are the other vampires I enjoy.
So many other vampires.
Okay, let's talk about Lowe.
Loved him.
I loved him. I did, when I was doing some of my notes, I saw some criticism about that he was one person, and then in the sex scenes he was a different person. They're like, oh, it didn't, like, match up. Like, it felt like a different person.
Oh.
Right?
Did it?
It didn't feel like that for me. I just saw... The reason that I bring it up is because it wasn't, like, one comment. It was, like...
A bunch?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm really trying to figure out...
And maybe my expertise is not in sex scenes, but I was like, I didn't blink an eye at it.
No, and even like the current book I'm reading now, they kind of talk about, well, she like says, almost says like, I love how different he is when they're having sex. Like a different part of him comes out.
Yeah.
Because he is like this certain type of person. This is obviously a different character, but I still think it like applies to that. Which, and I think just like sex in itself is like, is that like it's an exploration and it is somewhere where different sides of you can come out when, especially when you're with someone that you trust.
Yes, and now that you're speaking, I'm reminded of what further criticism was about the sex scenes, which was some people felt it was juvenile. Like, the sex scenes that were written felt very much like a man that had lots of experience with porn and then now had encountered a real-life female. But it was like, I think part of that excitement was because he was a werewolf and that was his mate, and so it was like overwhelming lust.
Yes.
And so that was the explanation for me that made sense. I didn't get the sense that he was like, I can control myself, sex. I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I didn't get that sense at all.
No. And I mean, they are also both young.
That's a true thing too.
Even though they're like old, but they're like young in their vampire wear years.
Yeah. And I think I'm a pretty forgiving person too when it comes to books and enjoyability. Like, if it isn't something that's too like I'll let things go. Right? Yes. Like, if, like, let's say in that scene he was a little bit, like, jarring in something he said, or if it was maybe a little bit juvenile, like, I kind of let it go and just try and enjoy it. I don't care that much unless it's something, like, really big.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah. Chill.
I do, look, I'll read over and over and over and over and over and over again male leads that are powerful and emotionally healthy and a little
written
bit
by a woman,
a little bit like self-sacrificey.
Yep.
Like emotionally sound, but also patient, with a female lead that is a little bit like temperamental.
Yep.
And
yeah,
like that dynamic does it for me.
I don't even care what type of female it is. I love that.
Well, I want to like the female. I want to like see myself in it too.
Yes. I just don't feel like I'm that temperamental, so I take
Jamie.
different. What? I'm not. I am perfect.
You are a sensitive, passive-aggressive lady. You are not outwardly temperamental, but you are
on the inside. I'm exploding.
You might get an energy in a room.
Yes.
I would still categorize it as temperamental.
That's fair. I am very passive-aggressive.
Yeah, that still counts.
It's a family trait,
still
okay?
Counts.
Family trait.
And you want a strong man to go, Jamie, it's okay.
Yes, that's all I want.
I'm gonna go lift my weights in the basement.
Please. That just makes me happy.
But you're my girl. You know what? When I'm done my weights, I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna pour you a glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna have some snacks on the couch. You're gonna tell me about the latest book that you read. And then I'm gonna do you good in the bedroom and we're gonna have a good sleep.
Right? Right? How hard is that?
And then I'm gonna take Carlos for a walk in the morning. I got you, girl. I got you.
Anybody out there
with a beard?
Yes, please. Some tattoos.
He'll have a beard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tattoos are.
Oh, I gotta go to my tattoo appointment, Jamie. I'm so sorry, but when you get back, girl. He won't say girl. That's weird. That's weird.
Yeah. Don't do that.
You're my girl.
Got you, girl.
You're my Jamie darling. So, sorry.
I don't have the name for it.
Okay.
Casting call for bride.
Oh. Oh, yes. That was very good. That was very good. Okay.
I realized I did not write it down, and it is all in my head.
Okay. Do you want to do... let's just do Misery first, I guess? Mm-hmm. Or who do you want to do first?
Let's do Misery.
Okay. Mine is Abby Lee. Do you know who Abby Lee is?
Is that the dance mom lady?
I wish it was. Okay. I'm just going to go with my... one of my low castings too, because this was a weird one. Okay, so when I start a book and I can't picture them really well, I'll go on the internet and try and find people that I want to play. And this was like part of the origin of our casting call, right? And so I found Abby Lee, and then I ended up casting someone for Low, who I wanted to cast for Low, but I couldn't keep him in my head, which I'll tell you about. But then yesterday when I was trying to write them all down, I realized that both of them were in a a movie together, like a recent movie, and they were the leads. And it was like pure coincidence that I found both of them.
Weird.
It was weird.
Okay, I'm excited.
Okay, so this is Abby Lee.
Oh! Yep, she's perfect. I don't know who she is.
Yeah, so they're in Florida Man together, which is a newer movie.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Edgar Ramirez.
Oh, I do. I love him. Like, I love this actor.
Yes.
Not Milo, but I love that actor.
Yeah, so that's who I wanted for Lo, but I couldn't stop picturing Theo James in my head.
Yeah.
Even though I wanted Edgar Ramirez, so Theo James is who I pictured.
That's a good Lo. I like it.
Theo James or Edgar Ramirez? Theo James. Okay. Yeah. I'm just like, he's not like grungy or hairy enough for me.
Yes, I get that. But he would, like, facial wise, I love him. Also good choice.
Okay.
I didn't really go on, like, the hairiness part.
Okay.
To be fair. So my misery was Gigi Hadid.
Oh, that's a really good choice. Yeah.
Right? And so I just pictured someone like this guy, so I had to look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's just, like, who I was picturing. It's, he's in Emily in Paris. I've never watched it.
You've never watched Emily in Paris? No. Oh my goodness. Okay.
So that's who I had. So his name is Lucien. Weird. Laviscount.
Okay, well, now I'm concerned that you haven't watched Emily in Paris.
I'm so sorry.
There's so many things you need to watch. It's both. Emily is so annoying.
That's why I didn't watch it.
And yet, I love the show.
It's fair.
The show
it's very popular.
Her annoyingness.
Yeah.
Which I think makes it popular. Which I think part of the premise of the show is that she's kind of annoying. Like, I don't think that's like... Maybe it was unintentional. I'm not sure. But yeah, no, she's annoying for sure.
Okay. Well, maybe one day.
All right. Well, he's a nice man on the show, so...
Oh, okay, good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do Owen. Why are you laughing?
I was picturing... Not Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson keeps coming to my head.
Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
He's 75.
He is not 75. Wyatt Russell. I don't know.
Wyatt Russell!
Yeah, he keeps coming... But that's who I was envisioning. Can't help what my brain does.
It's like you want Wyatt Russell to be both a 25-year-old man and also a 50-year-old man.
Yes, that's right.
He has range.
He does. He has lots of range.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, mine was... I kind of had two that I mishmashed between, but mostly it was Miles Teller.
Oh... I can't believe we haven't cast him as anything.
Mm-hmm. And then my second one...
Miles Teller.
Okay, good. My second one was Tom Felton, who is Draco Malfoy.
Yes, obviously. I like both of those.
I know, me too.
Yeah, they're both different, but I can see them both as that character.
They're very brothery.
Yes, they are. Okay. The dad.
Okay, the dad I did as Gabriel Mocked, which is if you watch Suits, he's the main character in Suits.
Okay. Did not watch Suits, but I know who you're talking about.
Okay, I watched many seasons of Suits before I gave up, but yeah, I like him. He could do it. He's good looking and he could be mean.
There we go.
Yeah.
Mine is not realistic. That's okay. He's old now.
Okay.
But I still pictured him really old when I was reading, but younger Michael Douglas.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Right?
Yeah. No, if you're like a casting director and casting for this role, you'd be like, I want a Michael Douglas type.
Yes.
Give me a Michael Douglas.
Well, Michael Douglas, but he needs to be younger.
Which I think would be a Miles Teller.
No.
He's too young.
Yeah,
he's too young.
No, it's just no. Fail. You would not be good at that casting. They're not.
What?
He's not a younger Michael Douglas.
Really?
No.
Okay, let's see what. Okay, we're gonna give us like 7 years and let's see what Miles Teller does because I think he has longevity. Or give us like 15 years.
I do think he has longevity. I do agree with that. I just wouldn't call him young Michael Douglas. I don't know who I would really compare him to. That I need like some thought around.
Fine. Okay, who's your Serena?
Someone I actually almost cast previously. Yara Shadi. I never say her name right. From Blackish and other stuff. The daughter.
The daughter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good choice for sure. Mine is Barbie Ferreira.
Oh, Barbie. Love Barbie. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I felt she was like cute and nice and like very friend vibes.
Yes. Love the Barbs. That's what I call her.
You call her the Barbs?
We're friends. Okay, I like those.
I think we have good ones.
Yeah.
Well, we're so good at this.
Right? Someone would probably hire us, I think.
Who's your MVP?
Do you want to just name yours?
Sure. So mine is Owen. So at the beginning of the book, when I was rereading, looking at this, he does stop her from trying to get married. He's like, hey, you don't have to do this, blah, blah, blah. We can figure something out, which is something I didn't really clock in the beginning because you're at the beginning of the book and you're still like, oh, what's
You're trying to figure everything out.
So you're not like clocking certain things.
And you don't know really their relationship yet at that point.
So I noticed that he was actually being like, okay, we could figure this out. Yeah. Which I didn't notice before. So I love that. And then some of my favorite quotes are, hope you got your rabies shot. And this is all in the beginning. When she's going to get married. Yes. So she's both like, hey, we can figure it out. But then he's also like, hope you got your rabies shot. And he says, hope you packed a lint roller. So he's making fun jokes. Yes. And then I just love that Misery, like her whole storyline is not being able to trust people in the world in general and her people. Mm-hmm. Like she's alone in the world other than Serena. And so the fact that in the end, this person that she was kind of like on the edge of, and we didn't know his intentions, that he ended up being this good person for her. Yeah. I just really love that storyline, and I really love the character and their relationship.
I agree. It would have really ruined the book if he went against her, I think.
Yeah.
Because obviously the dad sucked.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. My MVP is Sparkles and the little girl.
Oh, the cat?
Yeah. Cat went through some shit. Newly adopted, and I get taken away by this vampire.
I feel like they have a really nice house though, so it was like a pretty good deal. Yeah. And like because you're
with like the little girl who's probably like their besties now.
Exactly. Yeah. And because you're a cat, you don't have to deal with politics or like, oh, I'm gonna get eaten. You just like, oh, I'm in this mansion now, and I get, like, lots of hugs and, like, cat food, like, and I get a one, like, great. Yeah. And it sounded like there were, like, a forest, and it was in, I
just really love it. She also renamed the cat Sparkles. That was great. Yes. It was a great name choice. And also just his sister for kind of, like, lightening different moods and...
do you say lightening different moods?
Yeah.
Lightning.
Like, lightening it, the mood.
Lightening.
Yes.
Okay, I'm hearing lightning, like a thunderstorm.
I was just on the East Coast, so I may have an accent now. It's not the alcohol. Lightning. She did a great job of lightening the mood.
I will give you my car if you give me a Halifax accent right
Absolutely
now.
Not. No, not doing it. No. Okay, but she did lighten the mood. And
I want to lightening the mood. Okay, it means when there's a certain mood and then you walk in the room and then you just go you just take the air out of the room and everyone is alarmed and jarred and smoking.
It's a new thing, okay?
You can do it. You can do it with your friends. You can do it with your family. I recommend it. It'll spice up your life if your life feels too mundane.
Okay, that's my choice. I'm sticking to it. And I have a new lingo.
You do.
Yeah. All right. Okay?
Okay.
Clue in on that as well.
Okay, we're good. We're done. Toodaloo.
Bye.
Bye. Peanut butter.
Jelly.